Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another She Says with Serena. I'm still your lovely host, Serena. Welcome to Sexuality Sunday Services. We're going to talk about some things concerning the LGBT community, plus QIA. We're going to talk about sexuality, transgender people in bathrooms. Let's get started because that's something that I know that a lot of people over the past year have struggled with is, the transgender people in bathrooms issue. And I have to say, for those of you who don't know, I'm bisexual myself. So although I'm considered to be part of the LGBT community, I've never really felt like I was part, if that makes sense. As a bisexual woman, I have felt very ostracized at times from the community, especially by lesbians. They tend to feel like I have been treated as though when I'm in a relationship with a man, like I'm cheating on the community, and that's just not the way it is. Bisexual does not mean explicitly I want to be with females all the time. It doesn't mean explicitly I want to be with men all the time. It may just be for me. I believe in monogamy. That works for me. I'm also fine with polyamorous relationships. That's worked for us at times too. It's not something that is part of our life right now, but we don't judge those who it is part of your life. Um, I think that I struggled with transgenders in bathrooms because I wasn't too sure like what that meant at first. When the media puts a spin to something, they put such an ugly spin on things. And so at first, when it was in the news all the time, I was like, how do I feel about this? And then I thought about it and I mulled it over and I considered, how I've been in the past and stuff. And the fact of the matter is that I've been in the bathroom with transgender women before. Not a big deal. I have absolutely no problem with somebody coming into a bathroom and going into a stall and sitting down or standing up or doing whatever it is that they're going to do behind that closed door. It's really none of my concern and none of my business. I've never had a transgender person be out of place with me or step out of character or call me on my name or do anything that made me feel uncomfortable. So I don't see what the big deal is for people. Um, I've heard people say, I don't want transgender people in the bathroom with my children. What if they're in the bathroom with my 6-year-old daughter? Well, why is your 6-year-old daughter in a public restroom by herself? You should probably be asking yourself that before you're worried about who's in the stall next to her. Because if you're truly worried about who's in the stall next to her, you would be guarding the stall while she's in it. That's just one mom's opinion. So it is something that I had to mull over in my brain and decide, where I stood on the issue, and and it seems like within our LGBTQ plus community, I I'm just going to refer to it as the community because that's easier for me. It seems like within the community, there are a lot of undecided factors and stuff like that. As we evolve, we keep adding one letters to the end, and I know for people that gets very confusing and I think a little overwhelming for people because they're like, how many letters do you people need to add? There's only but so many letters in the alphabet. The thing is that we're going to add as many as we need to explain who we are, so that maybe we can get some understanding from people who don't understand us. Maybe if we can explain it in terms that you get, uh, then we can get more understanding. I um, Most recently, the non-binary term came about with mainstream Demi Lovato being at the head front of that. Um, and I really struggled with that. I struggled with the pronouns. I struggled with the, um, not picking a gender. I struggled with a lot of it. And I was like, well, how am I going to feel about non-binary people in my day-to-day life? How am I going to interact? And then not too long ago, I was at an event and I actually met a non-binary person. It was a younger person. I have no idea where that person fell in the gender fluid category there, nor did I find that it really mattered. I mean, it was just a person that walked up, and I talked to the person the same way that I would talk to any other person. I didn't ask them their preferred pronouns because it didn't matter. Like, I wasn't in a conversation where I was going to say, he or she. I was talking directly to the person. And for me, I generally call people darling and sweetheart anyway. So whether you're a male or female. I think that even people who are part of the community struggle sometimes with others within the community. It's just like any other community, whether it's a religious community or a gender community or a sexual community or whatever. Within communities, you're going to have people that are hardcore, and then you're going to have people that are more laid back about things. I do think that I'm more laid back about things, but for me, it was also different, like in the beginning, because there was no great coming out. It was just, in 8th grade, I realized I was bisexual, and it just was like, I didn't actually say the words bisexual for several years later because I just did what I did. And I think that it was my mom who first said to me, do you like girls? And I was like, well, yeah, isn't that kind of obvious? And she was like, that's probably something that you shouldn't talk about in front of your stepdad, which, he takes my holy roller and times it by 20, and that's him. And he's very Old Testament, whereas I'm very New Testament. And there's a huge difference there. The Old Testament was about Moses telling the laws, and the New Testament was about God giving grace and love. So it has been a struggle for me at times with my Christianity, with figuring things out and stuff like that. Of where does my faith in the leader of my faith, Jesus Christ, lie with all of this within the LGBT, especially the T right now, the transgender community, because the transgender community is so near and dear to my heart. There are a couple of transgender youths who are in their teens and late teens who I know who are just wonderful, amazing beings. And they know what's going on with themselves. They know what's going on with their minds. They've made their own transitions in life, and they're doing remarkable now. So clearly reaffirming, sexual reaffirming surgeries and stuff like that do make a difference for some people. I definitely believe there needs to be counseling involved and stuff like that. These surgeries shouldn't be done hastily. But honestly, folks, I really don't think that they are. People have to go through an awful lot to get that done. As far as my religion and my faith, I turn to Matthew. Matthew 19:12 says, "For there are some eunuchs which were so born from their mother's womb, and there are some eunuchs which were made eunuchs of men, and there be eunuchs which have made themselves eunuchs for the kingdom of heaven's sake. He that is able to receive it, let him receive it." And I take that to mean that God welcomes transgenders just as much as he welcomes the rest of us. And before you go hating on me, the passage before that says, 19:11 says, "But he said unto them, all men cannot receive this saying, save to them who it is given." You may not agree with my perception of what it is that Bible says, but that's my perception, and that's what I believe. You guys, this has been our first Sexuality Sunday services with Serena. I hope you enjoyed it. Come back next week. We'll be starting our week off with Mental Awareness Monday. You won't want to miss that. We have some stuff coming up on Throwback Thursday, and we'll be back next Sunday to talk again on Sexuality Sunday services with Serena on She Says. Like, share, subscribe, do all those fun things, and you guys have a great week. Take care. Peace.